And welcome to Hero Power. I'm your host, Avanties, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Zerotio.
What's up, gang? As you guys can tell, I'm actually enjoying the 4th of July weekend. My daughter's in town visiting my family, and I just so happen to be up in Avanties' neck of the woods, so instead of going all the way back home to come all the way back up to visit my dad, I thought I'd just come by the house and record with him.
That's right. So here we are, going to do a show for you this morning because, let me tell you, we had originally, I think if you guys listened to last week's show, said, hey, there may not be a show next week because we knew we were going to be so busy. And then all this news dropped this week and we were like, all right, we have to do something now, even if it means Zerotio having to come to my house, as you can see, so that we can do this show and talk to this about you for you guys. So we're really excited to have him here close to me today.
And for the audio listeners, I hope you guys are getting the audible thumps across my chest. We're literally sitting right next to each other. We got a lot to talk about. This is a lot of fun. This is my favorite season. But before I start getting excited about it, let's go ahead and get into the news.
Yeah, that's right. So if you guys haven't heard or have been living under a rock for the last week, the League of Explorers is back.
That's right.
And this new set is called Saviors of Uldum. And so basically, if you're not familiar with the storyline thus far, the League of Evil has captured Tavern. They've flown it to Uldum, and now this is the second part of the set story for this year. Enter our heroes to try to take back the city. So what are your thoughts so far, Zerotio, on how this storyline appears to be unfolding?
Well, first off, before we talk about the storyline unfolding, which I'm really excited about, we have to talk about that reveal video. If you haven't seen the reveal video, it came out last Monday on July the 1st. And it is like very, very 80s themed music. Kind of reminds you of a lot of those 80s movies. In it, at one point, Reno Jackson is standing on two camels, does the splits, flexes, and an explosion happens behind him, which everybody on Reddit and Twitter are calling the Flexplosion now. So
that's all Van Damme.
It's really cool. I mean, they've done a really good job with the characters of League of Explorers to kind of meld them in. We had the 5 villains. And of course, the 4 remaining hero classes were kind of filled in the first set with some of the heroes from the Kirin Tor and Dalaran and whatnot, but they didn't really stand out, and I was kind of confused by that. Why wouldn't you put really predominant characters in those? I mean, you had Khadgar and Kalecgos and so forth, but they just didn't pop like you would expect. Well, this is why I think those 4 classes are going to be filled with our primary characters from League of Explorers. We have Sir Finley, which I think he's probably from the cinematic going to fall in the Paladin area. You have Reno Jackson, which I'm not sure about. I'm going to get into a little bit more. Bran's probably going to fill in your Hunter role. And Elise, we'll talk about more, is definitely going to be in the Druid role. I think Reno is going to be the Mage role, but not so much because he's a Mage, but because he's acquired all these artifacts that have Mage properties. So I think he's going to be more about using like arcane style of equipment and whatnot as a Mage. Maybe we'll see Mage weapons.
I don't want to see Mage weapons again. The last time we saw Mage weapons, it didn't go well for anybody.
But I think it's going to change. I think you're going to see a big shakeup in the Mage class, which I'm really excited for. But overall, I'm loving the fact that this story is going right into Uldum, and then it kind of makes you think, what's going to be the third piece? I can't wait to see all the pieces of Saviors of Uldum and all the arguments of how you pronounce Uldum. Uldum, who knows? Anyways, They're doing a great job with this whole story arc. I'm loving it.
Yeah. So far, it's looking great. I can't wait to see. I'm really excited about this set, and just can't wait to get my hands on it.
Speaking of wait, we don't have to wait long.
That's true, because the official release date is less than 1 month from the time you're listening to this video. August the 6th will be the official release date. Pre-release events will happen August 2nd through the 5th. So make sure you check out the Hearthstone client and FiresideGatherings.com for a possible pre-release event near you.
And those in the Knoxville area, we're going to do our best to try to schedule something. The summers get a little crazy for us, but if we don't have anything ourselves, we will definitely point you in directions, because I know there's a lot in the East Tennessee and Northern Georgia area that will be scheduling quite a few of these events.
Yeah. All right. So, as usual with a new set, we get some new things. Sometimes it's a new keyword, sometimes it's a new mechanic, sometimes it's, something completely out there like quests, like we got a few expansions back. Well, this time we're getting a combination of a few of those things. So there is a new keyword coming with Saviors of Uldum, and that is Reborn. So minions who have Reborn will return with 1 hit point or health point after first time they have been killed. So this is very similar to putting the Paladin Secret Redemption actually on the minion. When they die, they come back to life with 1 health. So what do you think of this keyword?
Well, the important thing to note is they come back with 1 health damaged, which means they can be healed. So if you have any kind of reborn minions, say in classes like Paladin and Priest that can kind of use that healing mechanic often, then this is going to be pretty good. The example they showed, and we'll talk more about this in the second half of the show. We're not going to do a play portion this week. We're just going to talk about some of the new cards that came out. Warrior had one. It's going to be really good. I'm excited to talk about that later. But I like Reborn. It just depends on what they couple it with. If they give Reborn minions also with Death Rattle or with other keywords like Rush, it can possibly make them a little overpowered, but yeah, we'll just have to see.
Okay. We're also getting a new type of card, which is a spell called Plagues. Now, these are going to be pretty devastatingly powerful spells. And we've seen one so far that we'll talk about, but it's the Plague of Death. It's a 9-mana priest spell that says silence and destroy all minions. So you can see just by that example that these spells are going to be extremely game-changing in some instances. Tempo shifting, just really, really strong. And as I said, we've only seen one thus far, but it gives you an idea of what to expect from the other plagues.
Yeah, the thing about the plagues is, if this is the most powerful plague, I'm going to be okay with this. If it's not, I think they either should have made it a spell, or found a way to restrict it more. I think the best way would have been making it a legendary spell. Now, that lowers your legendary pool, possibly. But the fact that you can play 2 of these in a deck, if this isn't the most powerful plague, can be really backbreaking. Now, if this is the most powerful plague in a class like Priest, that's not a big deal, especially since Psychic Scream has rotated out of Standard, so you don't have this and Psychic Scream. You only have this. Now in Wild, having the option of this and Psychic Scream in your deck, you have all the board clears in the world.
Yeah, you've got board clear for days.
So I think Plagues are gonna be cool. I like the themes. I don't know what else they could do other than destroy minions, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. And the other thing we're getting out of this expansion is new quests.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you guys are familiar with the quests that we got from Journey to Angoro, those gave you a reward when you completed them. This time, the quest will grant you a new hero power when you complete them. So this is it's a similar concept to what we saw previously, but it's completely in left field to say, because you're not getting a quest reward. Thank goodness, no more freaking crystal caverns. Nobody will ever miss that. But now we're getting new hero powers. And if there's anything anybody knows about new hero powers, Zerotio, it's that sometimes they can be really, really, really strong.
Yeah, but sometimes they can also just be horrible. So, I mean, it's kind of either bend or break with hero powers. So if the hero powers are broken, there's a problem. But if they're not broken, they usually just are unplayable. The good thing about this is the mana investment is the 1 mana for the secret, and that's it until you get the hero power. Any mana that you put into the hero power. There isn't additional mana investment into playing the rewards or risk into playing to a counter spell or mirror entity or anything like that. It just automatically, as soon as you hit the quest, it pops up. There's no burning the reward. It goes straight to your hero power, changes, boom, done. Now, I would like to see if there's any kind of interaction with hero powers. I would love to see some, maybe some bring back some Inspire. We didn't see a keyword for Inspire in it, and I think we would have, so I don't think we're going to see any Inspire. But I'm kind of excited because these hero powers so far, and again, we'll talk about it in the second half of the show in more detail, the hero powers so far are decent. And I think this might be the first time that the hero power seems comparable to your current hero power. It's not so overpowered and it's not so underpowered. So I think this is a good way of doing the rewards. And I think, furthermore, it's going to tell more of the story. Because from the examples we've seen so far, each character kind of has their own touch on each of these quests, and we'll talk about that also more in the second half of the show, that the lore aspect is being told through these new mechanics or redesigned mechanics. And that makes me excited to kind of have that story and still enjoy the game.
Yes, I agree. So all right, now moving on, we talked a little bit about patch 14.6 last week.
We didn't know when it was going to be.
Right, we didn't know when it was going to be. And so that has actually happened, and we'll get into the details.
On the same day.
Specifically, yeah. But they also, with the announcement of the new set, announced pre-purchase options for Saviors of Uldum. And as they've done in the past, there will be 2 bundles that you can purchase. The first is $49.99. That includes 50 packs, a random golden legendary, and Elise's journal card back. Then the other is $79.99. It includes those 3 things that we just mentioned, but you get 80 packs, the random gold, the journal, but you also get the Elise Starseeker Druid portrait. So if you guys are Druid players, be on the lookout for that 80-pack bundle, because that will grant you that Elise card Druid portrait.
And her emotes are so saucy. And I like what they did here. Okay, so basically both bundles get the card back, which is fair. The more expensive bundle gets the portrait, which is, in my opinion, fair. I mean, it's a cosmetic thing. People want it. So if they want it bad enough, they'll pay the $80. Now, in the past, you had a random legendary from the $50 bundle, and then a random golden legendary from the $80. And I had to double take this when I was doing the show notes, because I thought maybe there was a typo, but no. You get a random golden legendary from each bundle. So in the past, if you bought both bundles, you get a random legendary and a random golden. Well, now you get 2 random golden legendaries. And I like that they're rewarding a random golden legendary for buying a bundle at all. because this game, compared to something like Magic the Gathering, is not that expensive. Even MTGA, it's not that expensive, but there is an expense in it. If you are a collector or you do want to be competitive on the ladder, and if you regularly get to rank 5 or higher, you have to invest into this game, and it's expensive. So the fact that you get a random golden legendary that you can then turn into any legendary you want, that's more important to me. If it's a random golden legendary you don't want, you can turn it into anything you want. That's a really good value.
I agree. Yeah. It's good that they're finally making them a little more equal for the players who maybe can't afford the 80 packs. So I'm very happy with that. So we also talked about the Hall of Fame rotation, which has happened. So if you guys don't remember, last week we said Vanish and Mind Blast were being Hall of Famed, and in their place they were introducing Plaguebringer and Radiance. So if you had Vanish and you had Mind Blast, those have been removed from your deck. So if you've not played since the July reset and you're running those cards, make sure you update your deck lists. You'll have to, I guess, because your decks won't be playable.
Yeah, and actually I had Vanish in one of my decks, and Plaguebringer was put in there.
Oh, okay. So Plaguebringer replaced it in the deck. So yeah, that could be a surprise. That
was really interesting.
Say that could be a surprise if you're looking for a Vanish and end up with a Plaguebringer.
I was surprised because I went into my Pogo deck and I'm like, why am I not short cards? And I went, yeah, Vanish isn't here. Why aren't I short? And I was like, what's Plaguebringer doing in here? And it actually just put it in its place. So I don't know. That's some kind of coding they did to basically just replace it. But okay. It was good. And then all the new cards are in. None of them are making a huge splash, except off of some Discover mechanics or some random summon mechanics. But for the most part, none of the new cards really have made a huge impact.
No.
Now, one thing that was changed that's part of this that wasn't really clear when they announced the Hall of Fame rotations is Pilfer was changed to grab a card from any class other than your own.
Okay.
So now that has seen a lot of play and is really, really, really good in those decks, those rogue decks, because now that you can just Pilfer on turn 1 and then have there's the Hench Clan minion that gets 3/4, becomes a 3/4 and rush for 2 mana. The curve is just ridiculous. So a lot of people said that Rogue was a little robbed in some of these rotations, but I honestly think Rogue's even stronger now.
Yeah. There's also been a little bit of controversy in the community this week, surprise, surprise, in the fact that Blizzard updated card art for a bunch of cards, actually, including things like Eviscerate and Headcrack, and Succubus has been removed completely and replaced with
Keeper of Secrets, I think.
Fellstalker.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, Secret Keeper was changed, and a lot of people were pretty upset with the card art changes. And there was a rumor going around that Blizzard made these changes because of they were having to conform with China and their strict rules over there. But I think it was Mike Donay. Maybe it wasn't Donay. Maybe it was what's his name?
Dean Ayala?
No.
Peter Whalen?
Was the one sitting in the chair with the book for the last expansion.
Dave Cossack.
Dave Cossack. He came out and said, no, that the reason they made these changes was because they felt like the artwork didn't reflect the style of the rest of Hearthstone.
Yeah.
And they wanted it to kind of be more in line with all their other artwork. Well, this still kind of upset a lot of people, and a lot of people aren't happy about the artwork changes.
I'll be honest, it doesn't really bother me so much because they're just trying to make the game better for all players. The Succubus was changed to Fellstalker. Completely changed the art and the name. Any references to sex, any reference, the word mistress was taken out of every card that had mistress in it. Any reference or very bloody art, like Headcrack was a fairly bloody art, Eviscerate was fairly bloody. They took those and just changed the art on them. Now, I do think there is some truth in changing the cards to make it easier for other countries like China. But again, I don't think, according to Dave Kosak, I don't think that was the driving force to these changes. And I support them. Anything that makes the game better for me to play with my nephews and nieces and not have to, and my daughter, though she's older now, and not have to explain what a succubus is.
Go ask your mother.
Why they call her a mistress. And,
go ask your mother.
You know, why is that so bloody? Just little things like that. I think it just softens the game up a little bit. And that actually makes me happy. I know people are saying, oh, you fired a bunch of people and then you're focusing on art, not on other things. I think they're doing a good job with gameplay. They seem to be trying to be better for the community. That's still to be seen. I think Blizzard's just, especially Team 5, is just doing okay right now. And I think these changes reflect a good side of Blizzard. And also the fact that we've changed command with Ben Brode and Young Woo leaving the company and quite a few members of the team leaving and esports leaving, and there's kind of a new guard there. We're seeing the way they're going. They want to make a more family-friendly game. And obviously there's profitability drives from Activision. They seem to be doing that in a way that's not so impactful on the community. I do like these little splash sales every couple weeks. While I'm not purchasing every single one of them, unless they have something like a portrait or something involved with it, it's good that they're doing this instead of just front-loading all the extra money they want to make on the bundles. I don't think a lot of people are realizing the little bits of money, the little bundles, a $10 bundle, a $20 bundle they do here and there, is keeping them from jacking these prices of these cards up to $100 instead of $80. So I think they're going the right direction, and I support changes like this that make the game just better.
Yeah. They also announced... I think this is a huge change.
Oh, yeah.
This is a huge change for the better.
First off, shout out to my man, Joe Mag. You're awesome.
So, Tavern Brawl downtime has been changed. In the past, the downtime, the Tavern Brawl was available Wednesday through Sunday, and there was nothing available on Mondays and Tuesdays. Well, now, Tavern Brawl has been reduced to a 1 hour per week downtime, meaning Tavern Brawls will now be available Wednesday through Tuesday with a 1 hour downtime. And that'll start 9 a.m.
week.
Yeah, okay. All right. So, yeah, that's going to be awesome, guys. That we're going to be able to do Tavern Brawls all week long, and some of the Tavern Brawls are so much fun that's all I do during that week. Others are a one and done for me. It just depends on the brawl. So I'm excited that this gives me the option, because sometimes I get really busy on weekends and completely forget to do my Tavern Brawl, and I'll log in on Sunday night scrambling to try to get it done before it goes away. Now I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this on the download on Monday, go play the Tavern Brawl, because this week you can. It's not going to go down until Wednesday morning before they upload the new one. I hated getting the Tavern Brawl quest to win 5 Tavern Brawls on Monday, and I'm like, I have to re-roll this or wait 2 days to play it. And I like that quest because it has good rewards. So this just excites me. And Joe Mag he's been on Twitter asking people, did you like this brawl? Is there anything we could change? What do you like about Tavern Brawls? What do you not like about Tavern Brawls? He's constantly engaging with the community, and this is just proof that he listens. Because people have been blowing up his Twitter with, why do we have to wait a full 2 days to be able to play Tavern Brawl? And now we could probably even talk about Tavern Brawls on the show again. So,
yeah, right. We've not talked about them because they were expiring on the days that we were recording. But now that's no longer the case, and
Yeah.
we can move on. So we can take go back to discussing those.
I also want to, before we move on, I also want to talk about another person. Give a big shout out is Hadisha. Hadisha is one of the Team 5 members, and she's kind of, I don't want to say taking Dave Kosak's place, but this set go round in the video, she took the Masterpiece Theater kind of role where she reads the story of this Saviors of Uldum, and she has this dry, deadpan, just comedic attitude, and it is hilarious, just absolutely hilarious. At the very end, she makes a comment about who is gonna win. Well, if the bad guys win, then we won't have a book 3. I'm in suspense. Just then it ends.
Exactly. Just deadpan. It was fantastic.
So it's funny that they make little references like this, and Dave Kosak was good for the sets that he did because they were very jovial and mad scientist stuff, but when it comes to just having a very Masterpiece Theater kind of deadpan, storyteller, Hadisha just hits the role, and I hope they continue to use her because she's great.
Like 3/4 of our listeners are now Googling Masterpiece Theater.
Oh, yeah. I forgot we're old. Other than that, there's also a slew of bug fixes. There were a lot of stuff going on in the game that people didn't even notice. Cards not working properly. The big notable one, well, I'm not going to go into all of them. You can read the show notes. We have a link to it. But the big notable one is Zale and Whizbang now have the proper art again and function properly, where they weren't really functioning properly, and you couldn't really tell you were using a Zale or a Whizbang deck because it showed that original class. I think that broke in the last patch when they brought Zale in. But that's fixed now. So
yeah,
that's probably the biggest note, and then a lot of little small bug fixes, mainly in Wild. A lot of that's been resolved in this patch.
Yeah. So there's one other thing I really want to talk about this week that's not in the show notes, and it's not going to be a comfortable conversation. So if you guys want to fast forward ahead, I understand. Otherwise, hold on. So as we've talked about in the past, back in February, Blizzard laid off 800 people, including the majority of their community manager staff.
Yes.
They only kept a few. The Hearthstone, we in the Hearthstone community had a really close working relationship with the North American community manager. He really did a lot for the innkeepers to help get that program off the ground and going. He was one of the ones let go. Then we had nothing, no communication from Blizzard for about 4 months, and then we got a really sweet lady by the name of Marianne who stepped up and said, "Hey, I'm going to be with you guys going forward. If you have any questions, reach out to me." Well, last week she announced to us on the Innkeeper Discord that she's also leaving Blizzard and looking for greener pastures, or she's gotten a better job offer. But good luck, Marianne. We hope you the best. Following that, though, Blizzard posted a job listing for a Hearthstone North America community manager, basically. Only what they've done is they've combined about 3 positions into this one position.
Yeah.
And then Chris Adelis, who is like one of the only remaining community managers, posted this job listing. And the replies have not been real enthusiastic, to say the least. The majority of people can't believe the audacity that they would just up and post it. A lot of people said, well, there are still a lot of your former employees who are without a job. Why don't you guys reach out to somebody who's trained and knows how to do the job? Well, the problem is that's a legit question.
Yeah.
The problem is Chris Adelis immediately started blocking those people on Twitter.
Yeah.
Anybody who gave constructive criticism about the hire got blocked. One of the most influential was Christina McConan. If you guys don't know who Christina is, she was one of the most popular World of Warcraft cosplayers before she went to work for Blizzard. You know, she was a fan just like all of us. Mm-hmm. And she was damn good at what she did. And then she got her dream job of going to work for Blizzard. And she was a part of the global community team. She met her husband while working at Blizzard. And then she was part of that group that was let go. And, you know, granted, you know, that layoffs are a part of it. But And Chris even said, you know, what happened in February was awful. Many of my close friends and people I consider family were affected. No one takes this event lightly. But yet, here you are, like, hey guys, this is a great time to come work for Blizzard. We don't have enough help. Well, no crap. You let them all go, guys. What do you expect? And you've still got hundreds of people out there without a job who have no way of, you know, some of them can't pay their bills. And yet you're not going to look to that pool to see who you can rehire. You're just going to ignore them and block them. Come on. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just make sure this issue got a little bit of light because I do not agree with it at all. I do not like the way Activision Blizzard is handling this situation. You shouldn't just block people if you can't handle talking to the community. Chris, maybe you shouldn't be a community manager either.
That's a fair statement. I have to pair the same sentiment about Chris. I have my feelings about the job posting, and I'll go into that in just a minute. But if you're on what's considered a professional Twitter account, which you've made this a professional Twitter account, you can't just block people that have differing opinions. If this was your personal account, first off, you shouldn't be retweeting this tweet from your business, and second off, you know, I can support somebody blocking there, but this wasn't his personal account. It was a business-based account. Now, about the actual job posting, I'm actually not so hurt that they posted the job. It's more about how they react, how the community manager reacted afterwards with comments. Even if, and they're a professional traded, they're a publicly traded company. Even if they're going to hire within a pool of people in the company or from previously hired people, they have to post the job listing. It's the law, especially in California. They have to post a job listing. They have to allow people to apply for this job. Now, we don't know if they're restricting the applicants. If they're not allowing former employees to apply for this job, then they're in the wrong. But for all we know, they posted this job posting, contacted a few of these former employees and said, hey, we just posted a job. You're welcome to apply for it. I would hope that's what they're doing. We don't know for sure if they are. So I think the community going in this much of an uproar so quickly is a little, it's what Twitter does.
So I know people who know people that are still there on the inside and know what the job responsibilities of this position is. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I've been in close contact with the people who were formerly in those positions, mm-hmm. and they have rewritten the job description. Yeah. And what used to be the job of 3 people is now going to be the job of 1 person. And I don't know that that's maybe a contributing factor to Marianne leaving. I can't confirm. But putting that much workload on a single person is a great way to burn somebody out really fast, especially if you have very high levels that they need to meet.
Yeah.
And that's no way to build a community around a game. is to have one person who's doing the job of 3 and can't keep up with what's going on in the community. And if that's what they're expecting out of the person who takes this job, all I can say is good luck, because I don't know anybody who has been involved with the community that would want this job.
Yeah. It's obviously a very grueling job. I would hope the pay matches the responsibility, but
Probably
given
not.
Marianne's departure from the company, it's probably not the case.
Yeah.
We do wish Marianne luck. Jesse Hill, who we were mentioning earlier, is killing it over at Pokemon, and as part of their team over there, he's just knocking it out of the park. So he's gone on to do great things, and we hope everybody else who was part of the community department, community management team on Team 5 can find something. But if you were, see if you can apply for this job. We do know we have a lot of the community members, even the podcasting community, that are applying for this job. Mm-hmm. And that makes me feel good, because these are people that want to make a change. Now, whether they'll be able to make the change once they get in there and they're not shackled to restrictions, we don't know. Obviously, the drive of the company has gone more towards monetary than it has been community. We've seen some positives out of that change, but obviously this is one of the negatives.
Yeah. All right. So with that out of the way, let's talk about some of these cards that we have seen so far from Saviors of Uldum.
And just a reminder, we are not going to be doing a play portion this week. So audio listeners, stick around. We're just going to talk about these 9 cards that have been revealed. We're not going to go into too much detail. We're just going to talk about them, initial feelings, and then move forward, because we will be planning some card reviews here in the next coming weeks when we get more of these cards.
Yeah. All right. So first up is the Druid Quest Untapped Potential. Just like the other quests, it's just a 1 mana spell.
Mm-hmm. Starts in your hand.
Starts in your hand, just like all quests. And the quest reads, end 4 turns with unspent mana. You think, okay, that's not too difficult. But you got to remember, the first few turns of a game can be some of the most influential when you're trying to build a board. So that could make this a pretty interesting card to play. Of course, your reward for completing the quest is called Osirian's Tear, and it's a passive hero power. All your choose 1 cards have both effects combined.
This is ridiculous. So the quest doesn't seem too hard to accomplish. You can actually, building your deck the right way, you can accomplish this on turn 4 and have this for when you're going to spend mana on turn 5. And the hero power being passive is broken. You don't have to tap mana and then your choose ones both happen or all happen.
Mm-hmm.
And this is cards, not just spells or minions. So it's for your spells and your minions.
Yeah, choose 1 cards.
So what was it? The Loti.
Mm-hmm.
That has like 5 effects.
War Druid Loti.
All of those would happen on one big minion. So I do think this is more of a late game. I think you just kind of play this on turn 1 and then let it happen. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you have these powerful effects that you can happen late game. That does kind of rein in the power level of it. So I don't think this is terribly broken. To make this happen really early, you have to do things like play this on 1 and then play an Innervate. And then next turn you have to play only something with 1 mana. Right. And then something with 2 mana. And really you're shackling yourself for 4 straight turns to do it quickly.
Right.
Now if you let this just happen naturally, I think this just goes in a good value Druid deck with lots of choose 1 cards, and you just outvalue, almost like a tempo Druid.
Yeah. So one thing Blizzard does really, really well with Hearthstone cards, if you guys haven't spent time looking, please just take some time, go through your collection, and check out the flavor text on the cards.
Oh, gosh.
Because the flavor text for Untapped Potential is The official term is strategic laziness.
Yeah, this has a good one. One other thing I want to mention on these quest cards, as we get in, we'll see more. We see in this one, Elise is in the art. Mm-hmm. And every class that has a quest so far has a key character in the art. And I think that tells us who those classes are going to be kind of modeled around. I'm really excited to see what they do with Bran, Reno, and Murgleton. Mm-hmm. Because, that'll decide the flavor of the class.
Yeah. All right, next up we have a Mage spell. It's an epic that costs 10 mana called the Puzzle Box of Yogg-Saron. Cast 10 random spells, targets chosen randomly.
It could be anything, even a boat.
That's true. That's true. You know what? It's been a while. Okay, so this gives us it's Pandora's box. It could be literally anything. You open the box and anything can happen, and this is random of random, and it doesn't get more fun than that for me. But a lot of people are like, "Oh, this card's awful. It costs 10 mana."
And Puzzle Box, it was confirmed on Twitter. It will not cast another Puzzle Box because it was asked. Oh my gosh, could we get chain Puzzle Boxes? It will not cast another Puzzle Box. So it's really cast 10 different random spells. I wish they put that in the context, but it's kind of wordy. The one thing I want to point out with Mage, so far this is the first Mage card we've seen. It's a device. It's like an artifact almost. Mm-hmm. And the flavor text says, "Put the box down, Reno."
Yeah.
So this tells me that obviously I think Elise is Druid because the portrait. Murgleton, I believe, is going to be the Paladin. He had like a golden weapon in the cinematic. Bran is clearly your hunter. The only class that leaves that's not with the League of Evil is Mage and Reno. Reno is not really your typical mage. He's not a Khadgar or Medivh, Jaina, but he also often gets these magical arcane artifacts and devices from exploring. So maybe that's how he fits in the mage class, and he becomes your mage focus. And this is our first device, so I'm really excited to see.
It looks like his hands in the art, so we'll just have to wait and see.
We'll see.
All right, next up we have the priest spell that we talked about a little earlier in the show, Plague of Death. It's a 9 mana epic that says silence and destroy all minions. And the flavor text is, "Don't worry, there's a happy little fun house right under that sand pit."
So this is basically, we talked about this pre-show. Priest kind of dies off when their big board clear rotates. In this case, it was Psychic Screen. And Priest really hasn't been all there. I mean, you had your Nami decks, you've had some of your Silence Priest decks, your combo decks, but nothing's been really up there in the top tier, even top tier 2. And I think it's because they don't have a good, reliable, true board clear. This is a good, reliable, true board clear. It doesn't worry about death rattles. It doesn't worry about divine shields. It doesn't worry about anything on the card. It just gets rid of everything. Now, this is your minions too, so you really don't want to put this in a death rattle centric because your death rattles won't go off. But this is a really good removal for Priest, and I'm kind of excited to see where Priest goes.
And if you go to the Play Hearthstone site and click on the sets and click on the Saviors of Uldum, there's an animation of this card going off, and
so
it looks really, really good. They've done a great job with the animation for this card. So, all right, that brings us to our next card, which is the Shaman Quest. It's a 1 mana Corrupt the Waters. Quest, play 6 Battlecry cards. Reward is the Heart of Vernal. So, Heart of Vernal is a 2 mana hero power. Your battle cries trigger twice this turn.
This is broken. This is sick.
Now, I would say that
2 mana play Bran.
I would say this was broken if it was like the other, like the Druid, where it's passive, but you have to pay 2 mana each turn before you play your battle cry cards.
That's like being able to have a 2-mana Bran every turn, and Bran was broken. You played Bran, you played battle cry minions, and now you can do this every single turn with 2 mana. And often, because your deck is built with overloads, if you're not overloaded, you tend to have extra mana. And a lot of stuff is low-costed. There's a lot of really low-costed battle cries, especially with overload in Shaman. So man, this is sick. This is one of the hero powers I think has the potential to break the class.
Okay.
And I'm excited for that because Shaman has not been in a good spot.
I agree.
While.
Shaman's been rough. But I'm excited to see where this goes and how it works out. So
I really think Versika is going to love this card, and this is on his must-craft.
Yeah, I agree. This is one of my favorite cards that they released in this first 9.
Yeah.
It's a Shaman Spell, or a Shaman Minion. Sorry, it's a totem, 2 mana evil totem. It's a 0/2. At the end of your turn, add a lackey to your hand. I mean, come on. It's, this. So we had the Murloc totem.
Primal Fin
totem that was a 0/3 and popped out a 1/1 every turn. This is a 0/2 that gives you a lackey, which can do so much more work than a 1/1 Murloc. I'm really excited for this card.
And you get immediate value from this because you get 2 mana 0/2 at the end of that first turn. You're going to get a lackey, no matter what. So you're guaranteed to get at least 1 lackey off this. And the lackey pool is supposed to go up this set. We haven't seen any new lackeys yet, but supposedly there's going to be more lackeys put into the pool. So I'd love to see a Murloc lackey. Maybe we'll see class specific lackeys. I don't know. We'll just have to see.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have the Warlock quest called Supreme Archaeology. And the quest is draw 20 cards, which is something that Warlocks do well, drawing cards. And the reward is the Tome of Origination.
Yeah.
So, Tome of Origination is a 2 mana hero power, draw a card. So, basically, it's the Warlock hero power. The catch is that card now costs 0.
And you don't take damage to draw the card.
Right, yeah.
So, initially, a lot of people thought this was really strong. And then they went, oh, wait. If I'm drawing 20 cards, I only have 10 cards left in my deck. So it's horrible. Well, then people were like, wait, plot twist. Well, all of a sudden it's good again. So people are really wishy-washy on this card.
Yeah.
I know Matt at Arms is really excited because
I like it too because I think plot twist is really strong.
So a lot of people have said plot twist is bad. The Shadow Cloak has a plot twist deck. People say it's bad. I have actually had really good success with that specific deck. I haven't played a large sample size, but I'm 3-1 with that deck. I think it's all about. It's one of those. It's kind of like the old school Freeze Mage, where it was good. It was a overpowered deck in the right hands. There's other decks like that now. Pogo Rogue. Pogo Rogue is not the greatest deck. However, there are some people that have taken it not only to Legend but into High Legend, and so if it's played properly, it can be an overpowered deck. So I think plot twist just needed a couple extra tools, and this might be one of them.
Yep, I agree. I'm excited for this to drop. Next up, we have a warrior minion. It's a common. It's called the Restless Mummy. It's a 4-mana 3/2 with Rush and the new keyword Reborn. So 4-mana 3/2. When it dies the first time, it comes back as a 3/1. So with Rush, so it can board clear and still be a presence,
or board clear some more. I mean, the thing about this card is really good. I mean, obviously stat line 3/2 is not great
at 4 mana. Yeah, 3/2
but if
at
you
4
think
mana.
about this, it's 4 mana, summon a 3/2 with Rush, summon a 3/1 with Rush.
Yes.
If you're using it to clear, so you can rush into a minion, it dies, and then rush into another minion. Or if it's a really big minion, rush both of them in that minion, and you just 1-for-1 with this card. I think it has really good potential. I think it swaps in place of the Militia Commander.
Yes, I can see that.
Because if you're only clearing one small minion, like you usually are with a Militia Commander, sure, you have a 2-1 or 2-2 left on the board. This case, you have a 3-1 left on the board. And there's a flexibility of possibly clearing a second minion. So it's a good card. I'm excited. There are going to be people that don't use it right. Like if they rush right into a the 1/3 mech that gives you armor when it's damaged.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but I know.
If they rush into that, expecting to then be able to rush into something else, well, no, it has to die. Right. So you have to make sure it dies on the first attack. But that's it's a learning curve with a card. I like it. Again, I hope this is one of the more powerful Reborn minions. I don't think it has to be the most powerful Reborn minion, but if this is bottom tier Reborn minion for power level, then the Reborn mechanic might be broken.
Okay.
But if they're coupling it with Rush and a lot of minions, we might have a problem. But if it's just a standard ability that's not always coupled with Rush, then it should be fine.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's broken based on what are the keywords it's coupled with.
Gotcha. All right, next up we have a neutral minion. It's a common called Jar Dealer. It's a 1-mana 1/1 with Death Rattle. Add a random 1-cost minion to your hand. So I like the text. What's in the jar? It could be anyone. So any 1-cost mana minion is what it could be. But for 1-mana 1/1 and you get another minion in your hand.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence with this card because in standard 1-mana minions have kind of lost some power level. You don't have a lot of the 1-mana 1/3s like you used to, or some 1-mana 2/3s with some drawbacks and things like that. So in Wild, it probably has a great pool to pull from, but in Standard, I'm not sure. We'll just have to see what other 1-mana minions come out in this set that maybe bump up that pool a bit.
It's got some interesting artwork too, because it kind of looks like the Jar Dealer is a Naga.
No, that is the Sethic, I think.
Okay.
It's one of the new races. It's a snake race that came out with the most recent expansion from World of Warcraft.
Okay.
Along with the Fox people.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
I wasn't familiar with it
It's
because
not a
I
Naga.
haven't played WoW.
It's an actual snake person.
Okay.
They resemble more cobras than
Gotcha.
aquatic
Well,
snakes.
good. I'm glad you explained that because I haven't played WoW, so I didn't know what she was.
Yeah, I want to say the name again. I've not played a lot of the most recent set. I think the name of the race is Sethic.
Okay. All right. And the last card they have revealed thus far is a neutral rare minion called the Questing Explorer. She's a 2-mana 2/3 battle cry. If you control a quest, draw a card. This card is stupid good.
So this is one of the most solid neutral 2-drops they've put in a set.
Yeah, easy. I mean, a 2-mana 2/3 just off the base is really good. But couple that in a set where every class has a quest that you're guaranteed to get in your opening hand. It
curves right into it.
Right. This curves right into drawing an extra card. That's just
This also
stupid.
curves right into the Warlock quest in a plot twist.
Yeah, and helping you get to that quest.
You turn 1, play the quest. Turn 2, develop a 2/3 minion and draw a card without having to use your hero power.
Exactly.
So that's one tick on your quest.
Yeah.
And then it gets you to that plot twist even faster. Plus, you're drawing a card. There's a lot of value with a card that you play and then draw because your hand size doesn't change. So there gives you room to put in mechanics like, say, Mountain Giants, because you're playing cards but not adjusting your hand size. That's one of the big drawbacks of Mountain Giant is if you play a card, you're reducing your hand size, reducing the value of Mountain Giant. That's why Mage is using Mountain Giant so effectively because they have so many draw effects and draw mechanics while still developing the board that it allows for Mountain Giant in that deck. So maybe Mountain Giants go in this Plot Twist deck. We don't know.
Right.
We'll have to see what other cards come out. I'm just super excited. This set is looking
We've
beautiful.
only seen 9 cards, but so far all 9 cards seem like a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see how it changes the meta.
They have not announced an actual reveal schedule. I suspect we will hear a reveal schedule Monday, the 8th of July, which if you're listening to this on a download, that's today.
Yeah.
So as of you're watching us live, that's tomorrow. So I suspect we're probably going to get a reveal schedule, and I think that reveal schedule might start as early as trickle out cards this week and then start next week into the 3rd week, and then a big reveal stream. Because we're 4 weeks away from the set, guys.
That's right. And it usually takes 2.5 to 3 weeks to reveal all the cards.
It's usually about a half week of kind of just pandering to us with cards.
Yeah.
2 solid weeks of reveals with a reveal stream at the very end. And then that 4th week is when Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is everybody kind of absorbing the cards that they now have all of them out. Maybe the reveal stream being on that Monday. And then the pre-release parties start that Thursday.
Yeah.
So bam, 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 summer's flying by.
That's right. It'll be here before you know it. So, all right, gang. That pretty much covers everything we wanted to talk about today.
Yep.
Like Zerotio said, we're not going to play a deck this week because we wanted to talk about all this. But we should be back next week. I think we'll be back at our regular show where we'll try to play a deck, talk about any developments from this set. And then the following week, I know I will be out the 21st. I will not be available. I'm going to be out of town on vacation.
So we're not going to have a
family.
show. We're not going to have a show week after next.
Right.
On the 21st. But then on the 28th, right before we start getting into the heavy news about the set, we'll go ahead and do one more regular episode. And then I suspect starting the 4th is when we'll start doing our review streams.
Yep.
So on the 28th, we'll probably be talking about the spreadsheet that Man-at-Arms is going to be working on. If you're not part of our Hearthstone, our Hero Power patron community and our Discord, now's the perfect time to get part of it. So go on over to patreon.com/heropower, and for as little as $1 a month, helping us keep the lights on, keep the website up, and help us support keeping this podcast going. You'll also have access to our channel that has all up-to-moment announcements from Blizzard and the show and the community. We also have a channel specifically for the card art. So as soon as the new cards are revealed, they're put in that channel. It's a good place, good reference place to go to. We also have a full channel where we're constantly discussing our thoughts on the meta, the new cards, just life in general. We even have a salt channel for those that are having a bad day in Hearthstone. So definitely a very strong, powerful community. I'm really proud to be part of it. And Man-at-Arms is spearheading making that community run in the back. He can't do the shows live with us anymore, but he's definitely part of the team and making sure that our Discord is constantly up to date and scrolling. And it's the best time to be part of it right now.
That's right. So if you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Hit the subscribe button below on YouTube if you haven't done so, and give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted when we do our live shows. And as Zerotio just said, check out patreon.com/heropower for more details. Until next week.
Don't forget to use your hero power.